Hi, welcome to another craft video from the Kansas City, Kansas Public Library. I'm Cheryl and I teach the craft classes at the main library. Today I'm going to show you this lovely technique of decorating items. It's called Decoden, and it produces a kind of a whipped cream-like effect so that whatever you decorate looks like a cake. It does dry fairly solid. And we're going to be decorating a box today just like this. This is the box we're going to be decorating. I've also decorated a cell phone case, which you can see here. If you do this, you'll want to use a hard cell phone case. And for any kind of plastic material, if you want to do this technique on it, you will need to scuff it up with sandpaper or an emery board to get the shiny, smooth surface off so that the material will stick. You can also use this on stiffened felt, which means you can cut out shapes and do this technique on it. On this one I have attached a necklace veil with just a little bit of glue. You can also attach a pin back to these and use them as pins. I'm going to use this one as a necklace, as you can see. So let's get started. So what you'll need for this project is something to decorate. This is just a cigar box that I have gotten from a cigar store. They will usually give these to you or sell them to you. They're nice wooden boxes that you can just paint over and decorate. You will also need an acrylic caulk. Don't get the one that just says silicone because those have a very strong odor and you won't like them, and most of them are clear. This one is acrylic. It's white. Make sure you get the white kind. Acrylic caulk means that you can paint it after you've done with it, or if you want a colored caulk, you can put a little of this in a plastic Ziploc baggie with a little bit of acrylic paint, smush it all around to color it, and then use it. Now, this comes in a tube like this that you will take the lid off and snip off the end, and then you will put it in an applicator. When you go to the hardware store, you can find these at any hardware store in the sealant area, and you will either see a tube like this or a round tube like this. Now, you will need to get this one to start with, unless you have something called a caulking gun. If you have a caulking gun, you can use this, and the caulking gun looks like this. And you put this in the caulking gun, cut the tip off, and squeeze it out. But it does require this to use the cylinders. So if you don't have one of those, stick with this. You will also need a cake decorating bag. You can buy these at the craft store. They're disposable, they're plastic. And you will also need a plastic cake decorating tip. This one is a star shape. I like a star shape for this kind of project because it makes it look very whipped cream-like. Now, don't buy the expensive metal ones because the caulk will ruin these and you may have to throw them away if the caulk starts to dry in it. You want the plastic ones. You can get them on Amazon for about 25 of them for about $15. You can reuse them if you are quick and wash them out very quickly. Because this is acrylic based, it will clean up while it's wet, before it dries, it will clean up with soap and water. After it dries, it will be kind of like rubber texture, and it will not clean up with soap and water. It will be waterproof. So if you want to reuse these, clean them out before the caulk dries inside them. You'll take your cake decorating bag, you will cut off the end, just slide this down inside of it, and I don't think you can see it on camera, but I have used a lot of tape to just tape it around there securely so that it fits. Normally when you're doing cake decorating, you will have a little adapter thing, but those are also expensive and I don't want to ruin one of those. And if I'm going to be just throwing away the bag anyway, I decided to just tape it. Then you will also need something to decorate your items with. You can use rhinestones, little plastic charms that I got off Amazon in big lots. You can use buttons. If they're plastic buttons, you can actually just take wire clippers and just snip off these little shanks on the back, and they will just snip right off if they're plastic. However, you're going to be embedding these in the caulk, so having a little thing on the back really doesn't mess it up anyway. You can also use various jewelry pieces that you save from costume jewelry over the years. I have a collection of these that I get at the thrift store in bags for very cheap amounts. It's great for this kind of thing. And that's what you'll need. You put the caulking in the tube. I have one here. Squeeze it all down, twist it pretty tightly, and rubber band it. This helps because when you squeeze this out of the tube, it's going to be very firm pressure, and it might untwist and you don't want to get it anywhere and leak it. I have a little piece of tape that I have just put over here to keep it from drying out in the tube. So you have here. All right. Now, if you're doing a box, be careful and not to put it anywhere where it would need to open. So don't put it here along the openings. Do not put it here along this opening. And do not put it where it bends here. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to open the box. And now, to get some tips on how to decorate this, you can always go and look up cake decorating videos. Those will give you lots of helps and clues. You can practice on a piece of paper first, or a napkin, paper towel or something. If you squeeze, push down, and pull up. You can also squeeze from the side, hold it, push, and then pull sideways, and you'll get a little shell. How you do it is strictly up to you. You can also do swirls like that. Just watch a few cake decorating videos to get some ideas. And decorate how you want to decorate it. I think I'm going to start, I like to start around the edges and then fill it in if I feel like doing that. I think I'm going to do kind of shells along the edges. So I'm going to tilt it a little sideways, touch, hold, and push, and then like that. And I think around these sides, I'm just going to do straight stars. Now you can continue on from here however you'd like. You can fill the whole thing in. You can do some swirls. I'm going to do a few swirls. Now I'm going to start decorating it. As you want to put things on, to get a three-dimensional effect, if you just put a little dab of this on and set it down, it will be flat. If you want a more raised three-dimensional effect, you will need to use a kind of a mound. And then you place that on it and kind of give it a little wiggle. It will be firm, so you don't have to worry about that. You just have to be careful not to hit your hand in the rest of the caulking. So I'm going to do that with various other things that I have collected here today. And always remember which side is the front if it's a box. So I think I'm done with all the decorations. Now I feel like I want to go back and fill in some of the spots to make it look more like a frosted cake. And I've still got some caulking left. So I'm just going to go through and fill in the spots. Okay, I think I'm done. Now, I like the way that looks. So I'm just going to let that dry for at least 24 hours. If it's a humid day, it's been raining, you might want to let it dry for longer before you touch it. I will go back later and design the sides, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's done. After I did the top and I let that dry completely, it will dry in 24 hours and fully cure. Then I went back and I added a strip of caulk all the way around in the center, and I used these rhinestone strips that I got from the scrapbooking store. They just peel off, and then I set it down right in the caulk. And then I did some decorative accents around it with the caulk all the way around. And on the front, I added another big glob of caulk and set down this metal rose that I got from an old piece of jewelry. I glued a rhinestone in the center and then added more caulk around the outside to form a decorative round effect. And that's the finished box. Now, as I said, this will dry in about 24 hours to be fully cured, and then you're ready to go. And it will stand up to a lot of punishment. It really will. This caulk is meant to be used in bathrooms. It's meant to be used in hardware applications, construction, and things like that. So it's a very sturdy decorative technique. Now, if you do not know how to do these shells and stars, just watch a cake decorating video. Go to YouTube and look up cake decorating videos, and you get all sorts of tips on how to do these. And that's it for today. Thanks for coming.